Missouri Meerschaum goes all the way back to 1869. The company was founded by a man named Henry Tibby and his son Anton, and they're different, not as big a picture, but you can see on the timeline right there in the middle, 1888, that's Anton on the timeline up on the video board. They moved here in approximately 1863, 64 when their whole town of Inchlid, Holland burned to the ground. Not just their home, the whole town. So some of them and some 3,000 people were left homeless. Henry's brother Fritz was already in the United States, and so and in this area, and so they decided to immigrate to the once upon a time of South Point, Missouri. So we were right at the southernmost point of the Missouri River. From here, from Washington, it heads back to the north and up into St. Charles, and then out into goes north of St. Charles and then into the Mississippi.
Awesome.
And so eventually they moved to Washington. Henry was a wood turner by trade, so he was making tables and wooden spoons, and so wood turner, turning and carving items on a lathe, so such as a wooden spoon, such as table legs, and those sort of, so think about that sort of stuff. Farmer friend comes in and hands him some corn cobs and asks him if he could turn them into pipes. Henry does, gives the farmer friend a few pipes to put in his window. The farmer is very happy with what he gets. Next thing you know, Henry's making more pipes than he is wooden spoons. Okay? And at that point, during this time, things start to take off, and Anton has been away working as an apprentice in St. Louis as a gunsmith. And so he's learning about that trade. He comes home, sees what Dad's doing, and's like, hey, Dad, you've got something. And so they get a partner, a man named George Common. George built many of the buildings that are in downtown. If you would go eat at Cowan's, which is a restaurant up the street a few blocks, he built that building along with several others in this town. And so at that point, they open a factory. Let's see, there's pictures of it. If you can take, this was the original factory they built. It's not a very big picture of it. And they're in this building from about 1872 to when they opened this building in 1883.
Okay.
You're standing in the original building, and then I'm going to walk you around a little bit, take you back to these pictures. This building that you're standing in opened in 1883. Between 1883 and 1900, it's added on to 4 additional times. So now it basically takes up a whole city block. So it went from that to this. And those plans up there are plans for the 3rd edition that was built.
I have a question.
Sure.
Did they build this building?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Built this building. That is this building. You're about right there in this building right now, okay? And then they straightened it out, so you can add it. And if you look out, if you go out across the street, you can see where the brick has changed a little bit. You got to look a little close, but you can see where the brick has changed and how they added on over time. And so, and you can see so that goes into the 4th edition. You can see how there were windows on the other side as well.
Oh, were they concrete?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they added the bricks over time. And so 1900, things are going along, doing really well. Henry, not so much Henry would have been happy in his little factory making pipes the rest of his life. But Anton, he was very forward thinking, and as a result, Washington becomes as advanced as New York, Chicago, because Anton actually goes all the way to California and learns about electricity and brings electric turbines, eventually brings electric turbines back and opens the first power plant in Washington in 1896.
Oh, wow.
And so over that time, he also builds 2 additional power plants, which one is right next door to this building. So if you walk on down the street, you'll see the 3rd power plant, and there's a picture right there. It's actually popped up right there with the smokestack in the middle and the 2nd TV. That's the Tibby Power Company, and there's another one right there of it. And then farther down, it's not open currently as a restaurant. It's called 514, but that was the 2nd. You can actually see the transformer sort of sticking out of the building. So that was
That's cool.
The first one is long since gone. It was up here a few blocks.
Okay.
At that point, so they're rocking and rolling. In the heyday, they make over 26 million pipes back in the 1920s. Today we do about 1 million. Still do 1 million. We'll start with growing the corn, right? We grow the corn. We have about 250 acres across the river, north of here. About 80 acres over this way, and about another 150 acres over that way. And we build at any one year, we do 150 acres of our corn. We do a special corn that nobody else has, and it is called pipe corn. And so because it has a woody ring. And so that woody ring is not like do you like corn on the cob? Okay? That's not the kind of corn on the cob that we use. Okay? We got to have this. You feel that wood in there? You want to feel it? Okay?
Yeah.
So that wood is really hard. It's as hard as like a piece of oak. Okay?
Is that stem wood too on that?
Huh?
Is
What?
there stem on that?
So that's, in this case, this is bamboo on this particular
Okay.
pipe. And then our standard pipes use a birch shank.
Okay.
So we'll grow it. It actually has to be, it's a hybrid, so we actually have to have a company maintain it. Okay, maintain our seed. It actually is a double cross hybrid, which that might not make any sense to you. But what that means is that they take 4 different kinds of corn, heirloom old style corn that they used to grow before 1950, and they cross it once with there are 4 parent plants, and they cross 2 of the parent plants with each other, and then the other parent plants, and then they cross the 2 plants together from there to get our seed.
Okay.
All right, so it's not easy, and hybrids, they can't keep making plants that grow seeds. So it has to be maintained. So it's a 3-year process, and a company in Iowa maintains our seed for us. And so they go through that 3-year process to get to our seed, and then we grow it down here. We store our cobs, we shell it. We have a shelling facility across the river. They shell the cobs, and then the cobs spend up to 2 years up on our 3rd floor drying out.
Really?
Mother Nature dries them out for us.
Okay.
Once it's dry, it's like I said, it's as hard as that oak,
Okay.
basically. Very dense. Today's corn, sweet corn, field corn, it's been hybridized for yield, for corn yield. And
Right.
so it's basically all pith. The cob of a modern day sweet corn or field corn is basically all pith. You take the corn off it, you throw it out in the field, it's going to disintegrate in a matter of a few weeks.
This corn's made.
This corn, we have people that bring in pipes that last 50 years.
Really?
I mean, if you take care of a corn cob, if you treat a corn cob like the briar pipes that we also sell, it'll last just as long. If you rotate them and treat them properly, they'll last forever.
Awesome. I've heard that from the few pipe shops in
Sure.
my area. It now is the fact that they're made out of corn, why the price is so different from like a briar.
Correct. I mean, we do our best to be economical, but you know, everything has a price.
Absolutely.
Our employees like to get paid.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
to get paid. So, I mean, the price has to keep up with the times a little bit, but it's still, you're not going to find a more economical pipe unless you're like getting a basket pipe or something like that.
Your pipes definitely are not overpriced. They're very well priced, and the product that you get out of it is very.
Well, we
very
appreciate
good
that,
product.
and that's our goal.
I carry it's a $10
Yeah.
pipe, and I think it's got a black.
Probably either like
It looks kind of like this.
Yep.
But it's a black or stem or something. But it was like a
Yeah.
$10 pipe, and when I'm smoking out of that, that's what I carry to work every day, and on breaks and stuff I smoke out of. But I don't feel like I'm smoking out of a cheap pipe.
Well, we appreciate it, and that's our
you know,
goal. That's
so-
our goal.
Am I wrong? Started in 1869.
1869.
What does it mean to be a caretaker or something that old to you?
Well, I
guys?
mean, this is the corncob pipe capital of the world. So, there at any one time there were between 8 and 13 companies up into the 1950s. After that, there were down to 3, and we were the first and the last. So it's a sense of pride for pretty much everybody that works here.
That's awesome.
That we are the last corncob pipe company in the world. There really isn't another one because they don't have the corn. I mean, that's
Right.
what it gets down to. It's not a hard process, but it does take skill. You learn. I mean, I wouldn't call them straight apprentices, but that's basically the people that we hire. They pass down the knowledge one to the next employee, because if it's not getting done right, then we got to back up. That takes time. So,
Yeah.
our employees take pride in learning how to do the process. The ones that want to be here take a lot of pride in what they do.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Why do corn cobs smoke cooler compared to like a briar?
Well, a lot. There's as many reasons for why pipes smoke the way they do. There'll be just as many people that says a briar are the best pipes in the world and corn cobs are terrible, that say the corn cobs are the best pipes in the world, and etc.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, it is believed that the airflow through the indices, so you take the corn you shell it, and that these openings, these indentions, are the indices of the cob, and it's believed that airflow is what allows it to breathe, and so that keeps it a little bit cooler, and the sweetness of the cob don't pass on as much tongue bites and that sort of thing that, you know, might make tobacco bitter, especially if you have the right cadence in the way you smoke.
Yeah, like the rhythm to it and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I didn't, when I started pipe smoking, I never realized that was a thing.
It is a thing. I mean, I can tell you, someone that wasn't always a pipe smoker, that has learned over time, is that you have to, when I first started, I called it choo-choo training, because you want to see smoke.
Yeah.
You know, you want to blow smoke, you want smoke coming out of your pipe, and all you're doing is burning the tobacco. You're not, you need it to smolder, so you can actually taste what they're trying to do with the tobacco when they
So
blend
just
it.
the heat.
Yeah.
And you may have already answered some of these, but so what parts of the process are still done the old ways, like
The whole process.
whole process?
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing's really changed.
I'll give you a chance to look at the videos. The video that's going on the left side right now, that's from the 1950s. And then the video that's going on the right side, that's from about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it hadn't changed. We're still using turning machines that are from the 1940s to do some of our lower end bowls. And we still hand turn the majority of our higher end bowls.
Awesome.
So it's still done by hand. You look at those videos, there's not a lot of difference. I mean, what they're doing the same thing downstairs right now.
So it's good to hear, because it seems like essentially it's the same product.
Yeah.
You know, which is awesome. It's awesome to think that as advanced as technology is, that the product, as good as it is today, means it was this good back then. You know what I mean? Because it seems pretty advanced, like it's a good product. So some of the pipes I noticed have hardwood, like plugs, and,
Yes.
and some do not. How do you decide which ones get?
Well, I mean,
hardwood?
the price point is determined as you're looking at the different, you know, think of this sort of like a bar, like you at your bottom shelf and your top shelf.
Gotcha.
So what determines if something gets a plug, I mean, that's going to add to the price point. So
Okay.
our lower ends, they use, you know, it's the pith and the label. The label truly is, in our lower end pipes, this has a wooden plug, but the label actually is part of the mechanism,
Didn't
the
know that.
stability. So don't ever take
Okay.
the label off.
Yeah.
Especially on a lower end pipe.
Okay.
You get to our midline and above that, they're going to have a wooden plug, and it's not as big a deal, but at the same time,
Right.
it's part of the tradition of our pipes. So you can actually pull, like if you did it to like the legends, underneath that label is just pith
Okay.
of the middle of the cob. And so people have literally called us, well, I took my label off and I pulled the pipe apart. Well, yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah. That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not taking mine off because I think they look cool.
But you get to midline and above, then you run into a wooden plug, and we do that because it's soft pith.
Right.
And so and those pipes are meant to last longer, and a legend can last forever too. Again, it's how you treat it.
Right. Are there any stories passed down like through the factory that kind of hang out and stick around, maybe funny or just
Well, I mean,
historical family, or-
like I said, I mean, the history of the company is basically it's had 3 sets of owners. And, I mean, there was a period of time where it switched hands several times in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, but it had the Tibbies, the Ottos, and then the current owners that own it today. They're silent, but they do have a role. They're not anonymous, but they let the day-to-day be run by the general manager, Shannon Hoke, and
Okay.
she does a great job of keeping this place
Seems like
profitable
it.
and
It seems like
going. So,
and
and I will be biased. She is my wife. So,
Oh.
but it is
That's
true.
awesome.
The company has expanded in the last 4 years. Nothing will ever be the heyday, but
Right.
the company's grown.
Okay.
Since she's, it came in the last 20 years, the company from the previous general manager, Phil Morgan, to Shannon Hoke, the company came in the early 90s, when they became the last, and by the 2010s, it was days away from closing to coming back to being relevant to being an important part of the pipe world
Okay.
and expanding from there.
That's awesome. And one that I didn't write down, but I thought of. So some of these clay, am I saying Meerschaum correctly?
So those are actually straight clay pipes. The
Okay.
Meerschaum is different. So Meerschaum is a type of stone mainly found in like Greece and Turkey,
Mhm.
and it is German for sea foam.
Right.
So our name Missouri Meerschaum comes again. We had Dutch immigrants. German is the primary language for the Dutch.
Right.
And so whether it was happenstance or good marketing, Fritz, Henry's brother, said it either smokes like or looks like a Meerschaum.
Okay.
And so hence the name Missouri Meerschaum.
That was gonna be my question. If it's corn cob, why?
Because so originally we developed the plaster of Paris process that was important to the stability of the corn because they didn't have the same kind of corn. They were using what was grown anywhere, still heirloom, still hard corn, but not as hard as what we use today. At the beginning, I mean,
Okay.
that corn developed over time just through natural selection. And the buyers knew what to buy. People literally brought wagons to the factory door, and we had buyers that had a metal ring, and if the cob would not fit through it, they'd buy it.
Okay.
That's how it worked back in the day. So you had every farmer in the area, not just us, but Herschel and Benheim, Bishers, and then a variety of other corncob pipe companies, all within 90 miles of Washington. The farthest being the Phoenix, which was in Boonville.
Okay.
Other states tried to start corncob pipe industries. Nothing took. Started before us, started after us, for whatever reason, just around here.
Awesome.
And it's a big reason why Washington has the industry it has today. We have something like 20% of all the industry in Missouri within Franklin County, and about 80% of that's within Washington.
Awesome. And I think I have like three more, and they're quick. So, what's your favorite piece in the museum? Like, what's your favorite?
Oh gosh, that's probably the 1904 World's Fair piece. So this is what's left of the display from the 1904 World's Fair. So those pipes are all well over 100 years old.
That's
Okay.
cool.
And so there is a belief, so the Ottos were the second owners, and it's believed that part of this display was lost in the fire that killed Edmund Otto, who's the old man in that picture that says
Okay.
1912. His house burned down, and him with it,
Oh.
and it's believed a lot of the artifacts were lost at that time because
Okay.
it's believed he had them in his home. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's left. We've acquired things over the years. This was a collection that we purchased from another collector, and pipes from different companies, not just ours.
Gotcha.
We acquired a lot of the old companies, Bishers, Herschel and Benheim. We acquired them as they went out of business. What's funny about Herschel and Benheim is that we bought them in '77, but kept making pipes under their names until the '90s because we had a contract with Rite Aid, and
Okay.
so we would have had to resubmit to Rite Aid to be a vendor for them. So rather than go through that process again, we just kept sticking their label on our pipes.
Okay.
So, but you mentioned the clay pipes earlier. That was we started offering clay pipes when we acquired a company, a startup, 2000 teens,
Okay.
called Old Dominion started, and they were trying to use heirloom Native American corn. Well, they couldn't keep up with the process. They couldn't get they didn't understand the plant genetics because it wasn't their full-time job, so they couldn't grow enough corn so we were actually producing cobs for them, sending them cobs, and then eventually, hey, or they offered, we absorbed them as well. So we still, the clay pipes they were doing, and the bamboo stem pipes. I mean, not that we weren't doing some of that, but it just makes sense to keep them the old dominion.
Okay, and clay pipes you can smoke just like I've never had a
You
clay
can,
pipe.
but
Are
they
more
smoke
for
very
show?
hot, and they're usually pretty short smoke because they have a small bowl.
So
but
you
they
use it for show or?
people do smoke them. I mean, if you go back into like the Revolutionary period, clay pipes were used as tavern pipes, and so they would be long church warden stemmed pipes. So they could be like this long, and in a tavern, you treat before cigarettes. So somebody would come in, they didn't have their own pipe, they would load a clay pipe, smoke it, and then break the tip off of it and leave it for the next guy.
Okay.
And so that's why today, when people are going through refuse piles, like in Colonial or in Boston or something like that, they'll find just the bowl of the pipe. It was because they kept breaking that down, and then they get down to the end of it and they throw it away.
Okay. And last question is a twofold. So the first part, you said you smoke pipe.
On occasion.
What is your go-to pipe, and what is your go-to blend?
Probably, Country Gentleman is, that's just like a lot of people, it's our favorite,
Okay.
Usually it's bent. I'm not much for straight pipes, so I like bent pipes. And, I sort of vary. I like Independence Day,
Okay.
which is an English aromatic. That's probably my all day, but working for a corncob pipe company that also carries tobacco, I have opportunities to purchase tobacco, all sorts of different kinds. So
Right.
it's not as hard for me. So it's a little hard to say, oh, I always smoke.
Yeah, I smoke a big mix of
Yeah.
tobacco as well. So last question, for a brand new piper coming in, never smoked a pipe before, what's your go-to to recommend to them, pipe-wise and blend-wise?
I would say like a Legend and, probably an aromatic, usually like a cherry vanilla type, custard. Custard's a pretty common one. But yeah, there's a lot of just basic, you want to start with something that usually sweeter that's encased.
Okay.
That either topped with sugar or has been infused. If you're a big cigarette smoker, you might be like Virginias. If some people like Englishes, they want them spicy. I mean, everybody's at a different spot in their journey. Right. And so one of the things that I could encourage you to do, and I'll give you, there's a QR code, and we're working on it, we'll continue to, is typical Rick's page. So that'll take you, and there's videos. If there are not, there's videos, and then what we, pack light, pack right.
Okay.
If you don't want to stuff it too hard, you don't want to pack it too light, because then it's harder to smoke. It's going to burn hot, and you're not going to get the enjoyment out of it. So there's that balance. But hey, it's your journey. At the end of the day, it's your journey. You want to smell, smoke.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
I definitely did that when I first started.
Yeah.
Now I've noticed that lighter sips, almost like I'm sipping a drink.
Absolutely.
And just kind of, there's not as much smoke coming out when I'm smoking that way, but I taste it better.
Yep.
So, well, this has been awesome.
Yep.
I can't thank you enough for having us here and
Yeah.
letting us kind of pick your brain and stuff. And this is kind of not thought of, but for purchasing wise, is there tobacco brands or blends that you guys manufacture?
So we don't manufacture. We have blends that are made for
For you
us.
guys. Okay.
So Party Line, Luminaire, and Drawdown are made for us. We have a few. So they were made by Sutliff, and so if you're not familiar with the background there, Sutliff was bought by STG, and so Sutliff made our other private labels. Independence Day, Great Dane, what we have left, our crumble cake, and Missouri Pride, but those were done by Sutliff. This is literally what we have left.
Okay.
We have other, but these brands, these flavors, blends, that's the word. But these three are still produced by Cornell and Deal for us.
Okay.
And so
these are still being made. This is just what you have left.
this is
in stock.
what, yes.
Once that's gone.
It's gone
Gotcha.
forever.
Awesome.
So.
Is corncob pipes and last. This pipe was donated to us. The gentleman bought it here and went on a trip. And everywhere on that trip, wherever was interesting, he wrote the place down on the stem.
The middle one.
Oh.
And if you look closely, the reason it's
right there.
backwards and upside down is so that you can read South Pole. He took that pipe from here to the South Pole and back.
That's
Do
cool.
those dots
Hey,
represent
it's a
on the map
corncob
of
pin.
where he went?
That's so cool.
That's not his. No, this is where all of our visitors have come from.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And we've had it up for less than a year and a half.
Oh, that's awesome. Sit back this way.
I'm trying to. They're so cool. This part looks cool.
You guys have had people from all over.
It's clever.
Within the first week, I had visitors from China.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Swag bag. Got that drip. What's up, guys? Off Duty Pipe here. We just left the Missouri Meerschaum Pipe Factory. Got an interview with Brett, who is a historian here. You're going to see some footage from that. He was very helpful. We spoke with Dan, who is also kind of a historian here. They're very knowledgeable of their job and just the history of this plant, the factory, the company. It was super awesome. We got some goodies we're going to showcase later. This has been an awesome trip. This is something I've wanted to do for a while. Got a beautiful view of the Missouri River here that we'll show you guys soon. The building here is absolutely amazing. The staff here is absolutely amazing. I think this is going to become a yearly trip for us. We'll come down, pick out a pipe. Each of us got a pipe today. We'll come pick a pipe out each year and just kind of see the shop, because the museum's got a lot of stuff in there. It does seem like a small area for a museum, but there's so much history crammed in there that it's just totally worth coming down. If you're within a couple hours drive, I encourage you guys to make the drive. This place is awesome. So this has been the Off Duty Pipe. Thank you for coming along with me. God bless you guys, and stay lit.